Okay, let's unpack this. This feeling of AI advancing at like warp speed, it's almost overwhelming, isn't it?
It really is. Trying to keep up feels like a full-time job sometimes.
Exactly. Like you blink and there's a whole new set of features or a model update. What's actually important in all this noise?
Cutting through that is key.
That's what we're aiming for today. Think of this as your shortcut to understanding the stuff that's genuinely, well, groundbreaking.
And what's fascinating here isn't just the speed, it's the kind of progress. We're seeing these leaps in capability that honestly seemed like science fiction not long ago.
Right. And today, we're diving deep into the latest from Google's Gemini. We're focusing on the new video tools, VO2 and Whisk Animate, and also the sheer brain power in Gemini 2.5 Pro.
Yeah, this isn't just incremental stuff. These tools feel like they're really pushing boundaries.
Consider this your front row seat to figuring out how these aren't just small updates. They're seriously changing the game for what AI can do.
And it's important to remember, this is all happening in a really dynamic space. It's, competitive out there.
Absolutely. So to get the full picture, we've gathered a mix of sources. We've got Reddit threads, where people are sharing raw experiences.
The unfiltered feedback, always useful.
Google's own blog posts, giving the official line, some tech news deep dives, Google Workspace updates showing how it plugs into work.
Right, the practical integration.
And even a pretty interesting head-to-head test comparing Gemini and ChatGPT. It's a good range of perspectives.
That variety is crucial, definitely. Helps us see past the hype.
So your mission today, listener, is pretty simple. Walk away with a really clear understanding of these new Gemini features. We'll dig into their impact, especially this text-to-video explosion that's happening.
Yeah, that video generation aspect is huge right now.
And while we won't compare it point by point to every single tool out there, the context of ChatGPT and the buzz around things like Runway and Sora, that's definitely the backdrop here.
It's the landscape these tools are entering, for sure.
And finally, we'll really dissect Gemini's research abilities, especially how they stack up against established players like ChatGPT. Ready to jump in?
Absolutely. Let's get into it.
Okay, first up, the engine room. Gemini 2.5 Pro, Google's calling it their most capable AI model, and they're pointing to benchmarks like Chatbot Arena.
Right, and those benchmarks, for anyone unfamiliar, are basically standardized tests. They kit these AIs against each other on all sorts of tasks.
Logic, creativity, the whole lot. So topping those charts consistently, that's a pretty big deal.
It is. It suggests a genuine step up in its core abilities, not just hype.
And it's not just about the raw power, it's how they're using it. Gemini 2.5 Pro is now powering the deep research feature in the Gemini app.
Ah, yes, deep research. This sounds like a major upgrade for using AI to actually, learn things.
Definitely. And the reports we're seeing, especially bubbling up on Reddit, are pretty striking. Users are talking about a huge improvement in the depth and quality.
Yeah, I saw one comment comparing the old version to middle school level, which is harsh, but then describing 2.5 Pro's output as, what was it?
Completely referenced, thought-provoking, massive research at an early undergrad level. That's quite a jump.
That's a massive leap. It really paints a picture.
And it gets specific too. We saw someone mention it successfully handled a DCF analysis.
A discounted cash flow analysis, wow.
Yeah, on a hypothetical Waymober venture. Now, that's not a simple task. That requires some serious analytical chops.
Absolutely. That goes way beyond just finding information. It's about synthesis, reasoning, handling complex financial modeling concepts. That's impressive if users are seeing that level of capability.
And think about the productivity angle. Generating a podcast from a report with one click.
That's wild. A potential game changer for content creators, researchers, anyone needing to digest complex info quickly.
It shows how these AI capabilities are merging, doesn't it? Text generation, audio generation.
Exactly. And I think you mentioned it even looks at YouTube videos for research.
Yeah, that was in one of the user reports. That suggests it's pulling information from much broader sources than just text.
Which makes sense, so much knowledge is in video format now.
And it seems Google wants more people to try this. They've reportedly upped the free user limit for deep research from 5 reports a day to 10.
Doubling the access, that's significant.
Yeah.
It lets more people experience what this higher level AI research feels like.
And then for the power users, the Gemini Advanced subscribers, that's part of the Google One AI Premium plan, they get deep research with this experimental 2.5 Pro across web, Android, iOS.
Right. Full access across devices.
Plus, it's available for Google Workspace users who have the Gemini app access, so they're integrating it into workflows.
Which is key, isn't it? Making it available where people actually work.
The consistent theme here is this leap in analytical reasoning, synthesizing info, creating genuinely insightful reports. It's not just data retrieval anymore.
It's moving towards deeper understanding, and you mentioned the audio overviews feature too.
Yeah, that's the podcast generation thing we touched on, turning dense reports into something you can listen to.
Again, making complex info much more accessible. Imagine listening to a breakdown of a scientific paper on your commute.
Okay, now let's talk competition. Those G2 test results you brought up, showing Gemini leading ChatGPT in content accuracy. That feels pretty important.
It's crucial. In an era of misinformation, knowing the AI's output is more likely to be accurate, that builds trust, especially for research.
And the context window on Gemini 2.5 Pro, it's just staggering. Up to 1 million tokens, maybe even 2 million in testing.
It's enormous. Compare that to, say, GPT-4 Turbo's 128,000. It's a different league.
So the context window is like the AI's short-term memory, right?
Yeah.
How much information it can hold and process at once.
Exactly. A bigger window means it can handle vastly more complex tasks. You could feed it an entire book or multiple long documents and ask it to work across all of them simultaneously.
Imagine analyzing an entire code base or hours of video footage.
Precisely. It opens up possibilities that were just impossible before because you couldn't fit enough context into the prompt.
It's like giving it this huge mental workspace. And it's natively multimodal, right? It understands text, code, images, audio, video together from the start.
Yes, that's a key architectural difference. It doesn't need separate models bolted together. It processes different data types inherently.
So you could give it like a text description and a related image, and it understands the connection.
Exactly. Or analyze a video with its audio track simultaneously. It allows for a more holistic understanding.
And it's not just broad, it's deep too. Enhanced reasoning, strong coding performance on benchmarks.
Yeah, it seems to be performing well on things like Human Eval, which tests code generation from descriptions. That's vital for developers.
Plus, being grounded in Google Search gives it that real-time information access.
Which overcomes the knowledge cutoff problem that older models had. It can access current events, recent data.
And seeing a frequently ranked #1 in those chatbot comparisons, beating models like ChatGPT 4o and Claude across different tests. That's pretty compelling.
It is. Those comparisons test everything: coding, math, creativity, following instructions, long conversations. Topping those suggests really strong all-around performance right now.
So how do people actually use this? You've got Google AI Studio for developers, maybe with a free tier.
Right, for experimentation.
Then Gemini Advanced for subscribers.
That's the Google One AI premium tier.
And Vertex AI for businesses on Google Cloud.
Correct. Different access points depending on the user, from individuals to large enterprises.
Okay, so that covers the brainpower of 2.5 Pro. Let's switch gears to the creative side. VO2 and Whisk Animate. VO2, Google's calling it photorealistic video generation.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it? Taking text and turning it into moving images that look real.
And it's built into Gemini Advanced now. Users can type a description and get these short 8-second cinematic clips.
8 seconds, 720p, standard MP4 format, perfect for social media snippets.
Exactly. They even have direct share buttons to YouTube Shorts and TikTok. Makes sense.
Streamlines that whole creation and sharing process.
And they're emphasizing safety, too, which is good. Built-in safeguards, plus using SynthID to watermark the AI videos.
That watermarking is crucial. SynthID helps identify it as AI generated, which is important for transparency and, combating deep fakes.
Right. We need ways to tell what's real and what's AI.
Definitely.
Interestingly, there's a monthly limit on creating videos in Gemini Advanced.
Well, generating high-quality video is computationally intensive. Those GPUs don't run on air. Limits probably help manage resources.
Makes sense. It shows it's still a demanding process. Now, what about Whisk Animate?
So Whisk Animate is another feature, also powered by VO2, but it lives inside Google's AI experiment called Whisk.
And instead of text to video, it does image to video.
Kind of. You take the AI photos you've already generated in Whisk, and Whisk Animate turns those into the same kind of 8-second cinematic video clips.
Ah, okay. So it animates your existing AI creations.
Exactly. Adds another layer of creativity if you're already using Whisk for image generation.
And access for Whisk Animate is also through that Google One AI premium subscription.
Yes. It seems these advanced video features are part of the premium offering globally.
Whisk itself has that tagline, prompt less, play more. What does that imply?
It suggests Whisk relies maybe more on visual inputs, like providing a subject image, a scene description, a style reference, rather than just long, detailed text prompts. Perhaps a more visual, interactive way to create.
Interesting. And under the hood, VO2 understands real-world physics and human motion. That's why the movement looks fluid and the scenes lifelike.
That's the claim. Understanding physics, gravity, how people move naturally, that's key to making generated video look believable, not just like a weird slideshow. Veo 2 seems to have made real progress there.
It still kind of blows my mind. AI can grasp physics like that.
It's incredible, yeah. The level of detail and realism is getting better all the time.
Okay, let's circle back to that competitive landscape.
Yeah.
We don't have a direct benchmark against, say, Runway or Sora in these sources, but Veo 2 entering the scene.
It absolutely positions Gemini as a serious player in AI video. You can't help but compare it, even implicitly.
Listeners will definitely be thinking about how it stacks up against other tools they've seen or used. Google emphasizing photorealistic and cinematic, that's clearly aiming high.
No question. They're signaling they intend to compete at the top end of AI video generation quality.
And shifting back to research, that G2 comparison provides some concrete points against ChatGPT. Gemini seems strong on his home turf, so to speak.
Yes, the test highlighted Gemini's advantages in using Google Search for real-time info, that deep research capability powered by 2.5 Pro.
Right. G2 noted Gemini 2.5 Pro was better at generating images within reports, had stronger real-time search, and produced those deep research reports faster and in a well-structured way.
Those are significant advantages for certain tasks.
Although interestingly, the test also noted ChatGPT sometimes used more sources, or provided maybe deeper insights on some complex topics.
Which suggests they might have different strengths, right? Gemini for speed, structure, and real-time data. Maybe ChatGPT for breadth of sources in some cases. It's not always a simple better or worse.
That makes sense. And the integration with the Google ecosystem, Gmail, Drive, YouTube, that has to be a big plus for people already using those tools.
Oh, absolutely. That seamlessness within your existing workflow, that's a powerful draw. Less friction, more productivity.
And that 2-to-1 user preference for deep research that keeps popping up in Reddit discussions and Google's posts.
That's strong social proof, isn't it? It suggests users are genuinely finding it more useful for their research needs compared to alternatives. That kind of feedback really matters.
So putting it all together, these advancements, Gemini 2.5 Pro for research, Veo 2 and Whisk Animate for video. Feels like Google is making a really strong statement.
Definitely positioning Gemini as a major force, a very potent competitor to models like ChatGPT and others. The pace is just relentless.
It really is. Okay, let's try and wrap this deep dive up. The key takeaways for everyone listening. Gemini's new features are significant. We're talking seriously boosted research from Gemini 2.5 Pro.
Right, the deep research capability seems like a standout.
And these really exciting creative tools with Veo 2 and Whisk Animate for video, these aren't small steps.
They represent genuine leaps in AI capability with real potential impact. Saving time, generating deeper insights with research.
And unlocking totally new ways to create with text to video.
Exactly.
So as you process all this, here's something to mull over. How might these advancements actually change your workflows, your research process, how you create content, maybe even just how you communicate day to day?
Yeah, thinking about which of these tools, the superpowered researcher, the instant video creator, could actually make a difference in your own work or interests.
It's definitely something to think about as this technology continues its part of the acceleration. Lots to watch in this space.